There's so much stuff with Mr. Beast, though. Like, it's hard to keep track of all this, right? There's the Beastables, which were supposed to be Lunchables, but I don't know. What was the improvement on it? Right? The Beastable, can somebody, maybe we'll have to do, I need like a primer on Mr. Beast, because honestly, I swear to God, I haven't looked at this stuff at all. I don't have any strong feelings towards Mr. Beast. I did not grow up with Mr. Beast. I was never into Mr. Beast's content. I do not, you know, like the only thing I know about Mr. Beast was like the whole you know, Shadman tie-in of Ava Tyson when that we went over that, right? But there's Beastables, there's allegations, there's a court case against Mr. Beast, there's employee allegations about it treating employees improperly. And we're about to get into the allegations about the Beast games in specific. Beast games? Is that what they're called? Beast mode? Beast games? Beast gameplay? No, that's not right. Beast games. There's not nearly enough, okay. Mr. Beast allegations? No? I can't even figure out the right hashtags to use on this. I'll have to figure this out as we go along. Stop. All right, so let's see. This is Adam McIntyre. Now, if you recognize Adam McIntyre, very likely it is from the Colleen Ballinger situation. Adam McIntyre was... What do you call them again? The weenies? Like, Colleen had like a special Discord or something for like her super fans. What were something weenies? Something with weenies. Was it Leanies Weenies? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But anyway, Adam McIntyre was a Colleen Ballinger fan going way back. Got to, you know, do some stuff. You know, like was picked for some user interaction stuff with Colleen Ballinger, and actually had some stories had to tell about the sort of the inappropriate nature of some of those interactions, right? So that's who Adam McIntyre is. If you recognize Adam, that is very likely where you recognize Adam from. On this video, I feel like of all the ones that I've seen about Mr. Beast, this one explains the situation, and the situation we're talking about is the Beast Games situation, which is wild. And that's what we're about to cover. Then we're going to cover Sunday, and you know, possibly in between or possibly afterwards, or whenever we hit that sub goal, we're going to cover the topic of your choice, right? And I've got 4 banger concepts for you to choose from. That's not working.
So much filming while I've been... Hi, Mark. That was super random. Didn't really... This video has leaked right here, and it is the sleeping bags of the Beast games. As you can see right here. These are all the sleeping bags for all the contestants.
So again, this is in a stadium. Beast games were in a stadium. People were staying in the stadium. And their luggage, their sleeping bags, like, right, it's all just kind of...
Like, okay, now we're just getting into Kamala Harris. Now, the thing is, with these working conditions that we're seeing, it looks really, really, really brutal. And now we've been hearing that this hasn't been a great situation, but like seeing these photos has just taken it to this whole other level. And I've just been seeing people be like, we've been hearing about this for so long, but now actually seeing these conditions, it's like really alarming. So I have a bunch of photos here from this news article. And again, this is the first time we're really getting an insight into Beast Games. So here we're seeing one of the filming. So we're just seeing like how many people are really involved in this right here. And we see people in like sleeping bags and stuff. Here we see everyone's luggage, which looks so unorganized, by the way, like so goddamn unorganized. Like, oh my God, that is just so much. And also like, they just took on so many people with this and they really clearly didn't know what to do with that. Here we're seeing a lot of people just sitting about and they're all wearing these like black ponchos, I guess, that look like just like rubbish bags over them, I guess. I mean, really weird. Here we're seeing the Beast Games filming, which is the first little glimpse that we have seen so far. And we are just seeing...
Okay, so there's the outfits reminiscent of Squid Game, but different enough to keep MrBeast from getting sued, potentially.
The absolute amount of people that are involved in this. Like, there are just so many people. And again, it's like...
I feel like that's not even all of them.
We're seeing people on the staff be like, you know, they weren't ready for this amount of people and blah, 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 blah. You have $100 million budget. There is no excuse.
Like, chat, imagine if my stream involved you all, you know, involved taking care of you all for 2 weeks, right? You know how, like, my stream wasn't ready today? You know how I had technical difficulties? You know how I can't even get you a fucking thumbnail? Right? Imagine that, except instead of not being able to get you thumbnails, I'm, like, not able to get you food. I'm not able to get you a working bathroom situation. I'm not able to get you some of the things that you need as a human being to freaking survive, right? That's what's going on here. So I don't feel nearly as bad. I don't feel nearly as bad about that.
You're going to bring on this amount of people to not know how to take care of 2,000 people. You decided to bring them. You decided to do what you wanted with the budget. And like, this is only a little glimpse as to how many people are there. And the fact they've been hiding behind this like big, you know, incredibly large, world's largest competition, world's largest game show. It's like, yeah, it's all well and good to be like world's largest, but if you're not properly taking care of these people, then it doesn't matter. All right, here we're seeing another one of the stadiums. So we're seeing a lot of people here. And I think we're seeing sleeping bags right here because they were all sleeping in the stadium allegedly as well. We're just seeing a lot of people. And it's really scary to think of this amount of people being like taken care of by MrBeast. So here we're seeing thousands of Slendermen apparently were put in the seats.
Wait, are those Slendermen? Or is that like, it looks like Anonymous. It looks like one of the, look, let me see if I can find it. Is it called an anonymous avatar? Is that what it's called? I mean, that's what... Anonymous suit and tie. Oh, I can't find it. It's like the Anonymous with no face and like a suit and tie. Okay, it's like a green dude with like a sock or a stocking over their face, right? So you just can't see anything at all. They've got a suit and tie.
Of the arena for the filming. Now, this is really interesting. We're seeing like a breakdown of... I'm like, how is all this leaking? Like, who's leaking all this? Because we've been told about NDAs, allegedly. We've been told about people, you know, being told to be silent. Like, where is all this documentation coming from? And why is it on this big news publication? You know what I mean? So here we're seeing the big stadium. We're seeing crafting or catering, you know, up here. Winners Tunnel, producers, different stations, losers exit, which is crazy to call the people that when they just like don't win. Production offices, psych room, my God, visitor press room, Jimmy's room, his own little room, wardrobe.
Like this is the closest thing I can...
Media, Air Pro staging. All right, so we're seeing a...
This is the closest thing that I can find on Google search, but it's basically one of the iterations of Anonymous as a avatar And there's different versions of this. Like the Guy Fawkes mask is really common, but this was an early, like, anonymous means so many different things, right? It can mean a hacktivism collective that was called in fact, maybe even several, like with the vocal distortion and like, this is the voice of anonymous, right? It can mean just refer to anonymous people on a website. But yeah, this is what I think of when I see like these. Come on, show me that. There we go. That right there. That looks like anonymous. That looks like the old school anonymous avatar. Anyway.
Production offices, psych room. My God. Visitor press room, Jimmy's room, his own little room, wardrobe, trucks, stagehand check-in, media, air pro staging. All right, so we're seeing a lot of this. Wow, so many ads on this. And then basically all of the sleeping conditions, right? So that is our first little glimpse into the conditions of Beast Games, which is our first. So let's go through this article. Okay, despite the scope of his YouTube videos, Las Vegas production worker Rick said it was obvious that MrBeast's team had never attempted anything to this scale. A production Jimmy MrBeast Donaldson deemed to be the largest reality TV program ever. Now again, that is going to continuously come back and bite him in the ass that he's like, the world's largest, like, so big. Like, if you're not looking after the people and you're gloating that this is the biggest ever, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass, and clearly it already has. All right. Rick described the Beast Games production as beyond embarrassing and would not be surprised if MrBeast's team was blacklisted from the industry. We literally have a Las Vegas production worker saying that he will not be surprised that after Beast Games, MrBeast's team will be blacklisted from the industry. Production staff and medics, many of whom are Las Vegas based, told News 3, which is the one from this article, that they have worked on...
Why are we watching the Miranda kids? Miranda Sings kid. Good question. See, I told you that this is what people are going to recognize Adam McIntyre from.
Various productions in and outside of Nevada. Across their years and decades of experience, they have contributed to box office hits with big-name celebrities, large-scale reality TV shows, and other YouTube productions. So this is painting the picture that they have worked on really big productions, but they've also worked on productions that YouTubers have done, which is their way of saying it doesn't excuse a YouTuber for being unprofessional because they have worked directly with YouTube productions.
I'm trying to think of how many different vibes this is giving me. I've got Firefest vibes, I got DashCon vibes. Like, there's a lot. Woodstock 99 vibes.
Before. As locals, they would often recognize each other from previous projects. They all shared a similar sentiment about the MrBeast Beast Games production that they worked on. These ads are crazy! Fed up with foot odor. Learn more. It was by far the most unprofessional production that I've ever been a part of, said Rick, a contestant wrangler who coordinated the...
That's a job.
...contestants during the production. And I think the biggest part of that...
I don't know if that terminology comes from reality shows, but it kind of sounds like it.
...was the communication was terrible. And again, with a $100 million budget, there is no excuses. What is that noise? Okay, the time I started filming this, my neighbor here in LA went, wait, I want to mow the lawn. And you know what? He looks...
Okay, I don't feel as bad about being unprofessional.
But just like how many people, even when we've allegedly been told that there's NDAs...
Look, there's unprofessional, and then there's having a Garfield tattoo.
...involved, are now speaking out to the...
Just kidding, Adam. Just kidding. We love you.
...or speaking out in general. Like, one by one, contestants...
And also the Garfield tattoo is awesome.
...production are all speaking out. And I think it's just painting this picture that... overall, this was a really bad place to work. And again, I've said this in every goddamn video about MrBeast and Beast Games Productions. How is this going to come out? Like, how is MrBeast production, Beast Games, going to come out and people watch it and be like, wow, this is a really interesting and amazing show because we now have production, contestants, everyone, employees being like, this was the worst time of my entire life. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster. And I think it can get worse, and then we have another person speaks out against it. Jimmy Donaldson has the most subscribed YouTube channel, as we know, with more than 317 million subscribers, and is collaborating with Amazon Prime, as we know, to create the biggest competition in game show history. Thousands arrived in Las Vegas to participate in what the production company describes as the inaugural MrBeast video for the upcoming reality series. So basically, remember, people were told it was only 1,000 contestants, but then 2,000 showed up, and 1,000 of them were only getting through to the actual game show, and 1,000 of them would just be on a MrBeast YouTube video. So people were literally putting themselves out there for literally just a MrBeast YouTube video. So again, a lot of this, again, what we're hearing is there is no communication, and there is no excuse for that when you have $100 million budget. Like, we cannot fathom $100 million. Can you imagine having it and choosing not to spend it, to hire the right people, to have communication? Like, you could pay people to just do communication and making sure that there's no errors or whatever, but it just seems like this is the cheapest production of all time. And that really makes me be like, wow, a $5 million prize is not the greatest if, what are you doing with the $100 million? Clearly not putting it into a working great environment with great communication and people being treated well. So where is the money going, Jimmy? Where is the money going? All right, okay. So News 3 spoke with nearly 24 people involved. So again, there are so many people in the production of this that are now speaking to the media. Like, how many media outlets have we seen? How many YouTubers have we seen who are interviewing so many people? Like, by the time this comes out, this is getting more and more people per week. We don't even know when this show is coming out. When this show...
Miskatonic says, by law, a Garfield tattoo should have to be temporary so you can leave them home, at home on Mondays.
Let me tell you something. When this goddamn show comes out, all of this will be rehashed again, and it'll be 10 times worse because people will be like, this challenge, this was removed from it, or this challenge, this was removed for it.
Surly Barber is comparing this situation to Cosby, and that most people, yeah. Like, I don't know as much about Bill Cosby, but I get what you're saying, that people thought that Cosby was like, yeah, you know, he seems like a alright guy. Same thing with he seems like a nice guy, right?
So there's going to be a lot of context there. The same way us now seeing photos and videos is really providing a lot of context. I just cannot see how this show is going to go forward. But apparently it is. We've had no real statements from Jimmy or his team that haven't been wishy-washy, so I don't know. So again, News 3 spoke with nearly 24 people involved in the Beast Games production, many under the conditions...
So yeah, chat, there's a lot going on with MrBeast, and I feel like I need to keep track of it. I feel like I need to start writing it down. We got the Beastables. We got the weird little Lunchable products that apparently if you eat one of them, it's like if you eat enough of them, like for it to be lunch, it's like 2 times your sodium intake for a year. So, I don't know, I'm exaggerating it. We got the Beastables. We got the AI artist, right? He wanted to replace all of his art team with one AI artist. People did not like this, right? And the tweet is now deleted, right? We got a lot going on with MrBeast. We got multiple lawsuits, allegations
of being anonymous due to the non-disclosure agreements. And it's also really interesting.
Jim Jeffries has the best 5 minutes on Cosby.
How many people are still speaking out, but speaking out anonymous?
Is that a YouTuber or a comedian?
Because of the NDA, so it's really not stopping people from speaking out. To learn more about how poor management of local production staff led to the chaos, disorganization, and safety issues revealed in a previous News 3 investigation. Some sources agreed to share their accounts under, aliases, or wait, is that the word where you'd say that, under like a fake name? I don't know if I...
Close. Very, very close. Very, very close. It's alias.
Pronounce that word right. What's so funny is me and my friends literally were talking about that concept today, that word, and I'm pretty sure I said it wrong back then as well, and they corrected me, so I can't believe I can't remember it. To protect their identities. The Las Vegas production, which documents state was for YouTube, was a planned episode 0 of Beast Games featuring 2,000 contestants for a chance to be amongst the 1,000 that would be a part of the main Amazon Prime shoot, which again, people allegedly were under this false pretense that all 2,000 would be in the show. So here we're...
So yeah, I'm trying to understand this part, right? There's going to be an Amazon Prime video, right? And they've hired Jimmy to do this, right? There's a Squid Game. The original Squid Game on Amazon Prime is a drama. And then you've got Netflix. You got Netflix, right? With the original Squid Game drama. Then you've got Squid Game a competition, right, on Netflix. That was a thing as well, right? They called it Squid Game because they had the licensing, but it was an actual real show, sort of based off the idea of Squid Game. And then you've got MrBeast getting contracted with Amazon Prime to make them a Beast Games, which is, you know, basically the same idea. Jimmy's a huge fan of Squid Games and, you know, has done a lot of big undertakings in the past to greater or lesser success, and maybe less so success in terms of the implementation and the execution than the success of the YouTube videos or whatever kind of content came out of them, right? That's been successful. Some people have some different stories to tell about what it was like to be on the back end of that, what it was like to be part of that production, right? So, you know, but then we have this, which is apparently two products being made, right? One being a MrBeast video, that's with the 2,000 people. And then the winners of that, the 1,000 that come out on top of that, are going to be part of the Amazon Prime. So it's going to be, you know, one is a MrBeast video, which is pretty big, but then you've got an Amazon Prime video made by MrBeast, which is going to be, you know, you're going to be on Amazon Prime. You're going to be on a streaming service, right? So
a part of the show again. During the competition, you know, mainly filmed between July 18th and July 21st in Vegas, I think, contestants were required to stay in this stadium field and were provided sleeping bags to rest during the day. The Vegas heat during the day, I don't know if it was open or closed stadium, but oh my god, the air conditioning better have been amazing because Vegas is so hot, and to sleep during the day of Vegas, brutal. Like, brutal. About a dozen portable restrooms were set up on the field to accommodate 2,000, about a dozen for 2,000 people, who were limited to the field's, you know, confinements.
You get the Woodstock 99 connection now?
We had a guy come up to us with his sleeping bag, and his sleeping bag was covered in, wait, hold on. Let me...
Adam, you're too funny with your pronunciation. I totally get the feeling, though. Like, chat, how many times have I had to... Have I been talking, and I think of a word, and I'm like, what's that one thing, chat? Do you know what I'm talking about, right? And somebody in chat invariably knows, and they mention, oh, I'm like, oh, yeah, that thing right there. See, Adam is doing, you know, kind of, I don't know, this is, you know, I don't want to say slop, but that is what it's called. That is the meta, right? Quickly produce content, ostensibly not for stream. But when you don't have chat there to help you with the, what is the word for it? Excrement? Is it excrement? Is that what it's called? You know, it's probably pronounced differently depending on what version of English you're using, right? But yeah, in my country, it's called excrement. That's what Adam's trying to say.
Make sure that is what I think it is, but I just want to make sure. It's like, yeah, like feces, like
when you don't have time to edit. No, I relate to this.
So someone came up with their sleeping bag covered in bodily fluids.
This is like girl dinner, but applied to YouTube videos, right?
And said contestant Wrangler Kara on the third day of the competition. The contestant had slept near one of the portable restrooms on the stage.
Exactly like Woodstock 99.
Field. So the porta potty obviously overflowed, said Kara, who only saw the portable restrooms emptied once throughout the entire production. Now again, this is all alleged, but the fact someone is saying that their sleeping bed was covered in basically either shit or piss or something.
Wait, am I missing the Miska memes? Miska says, let's see, how far back does this go? Exceptions, of course, would be allowed for a James A. Garfield tattoo on fans of obscure presidents. All right, so there's the first. The Garfield meta, whether it's Bill Murray's complaints about the movie or Garfield minus Garfield, are much deeper than the original content, or Lasagna Cat for that matter. Miskatonic also says James Garfield didn't meme due to his assassination. Yeah, an actual successful one, and it's on a Glup Shido president. Would you say that James Garfield is kind of a glup shitto?
And that they're saying that they only saw it being cleaned once or twice, again, this is all alleged, is fucking insane. Is fucking insane. According to Kara, like, how do you have $1 million budget and you're being accused of this? According to Kara, a MrBeast producer offered a contestant wrangler to clean the mess and threatened termination when the worker expressed reluctance to cleaning this, allegedly.
So remember, this is all allegedly. This is just, you know, we're hearing this from, what, a contestant wrangler? So somebody who worked on the production, but obviously there's a little bit of a dog pile on MrBeast right now, so, I mean, take it with a slight grain of salt. You know, it hasn't been proven in court yet.
The worker was not provided equipment or training on handling human waste, said Kara, who spoke with the extremely upset...
Also, if you're gonna have somebody handle human waste, that needs to be in their job description, right? In fact, I would say that there should be a waiver, right? If your job's gonna involve poop or pee or anything like that, right? You need to know that up front. When you're accepting the job, you need to know that, right? You cannot have it sprung on you at the last minute with a stipulation of, if you don't want to get fired, clean up this poop. You can't, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Afterwards, after searching the stadium for protective equipment, she said they found gloves without the producer's guidance. After that incident, Kara said the MrBeast producer was reprimanded. They got in trouble for their actions. That's a major violation, OSHA violation, said Kara. You don't ask people to clean porta potties like that. How are we hearing more bad stuff? Like, how are there worse stories than what we know? The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA guidelines for cleaning waste during requires employers to provide protective equipment and training for the employee. Before cleanup, employers must perform a job hazard analysis and document the process to determine exposure risk and the level of protection needed to carry out the task safely. Employers must also ensure the employee knows the risks and how to access the protective equipment. And we're being told that wasn't happening, which is just insane. Medics. A lot of stuff changed from what they told us on the first day. And that happened constantly throughout the entire production, said Rick, who, amongst others, had initially believed the production was directly affiliated with Amazon Prime Video, but this was the YouTube video.
Are there OSHA standards? I mean, look, the whole thing about these productions is there's not a lot of thought given. Like, the innovation that MrBeast has been able to do is kind of like to do reality shows, which are already at a lower standard. You know, the reason reality shows took off wasn't so as much because of their popularity, which, you know, yeah, people would watch it, as much as it is that with a reality show, you don't have to hire a writing team. You have to hire people to come up with situations. You have to hire people to, you know, kind of make those situations feasible and safe. But there's not much more, so it's like a lot cheaper compared to like an actual show, right? And then you take that and you step down one more level from that to YouTube standards, right? And you've got MrBeast, who's trying to kind of produce the same kind of content, but at a fraction of the cost. So the standards, you know, a lot of stuff just gets cut out, you know? It's like, and this is what you end up with.
Allegedly. Production worker Jack said that higher level managerial positions like producers were primarily held by people in MrBeast's camp. Local production talent filled the majority of contestant wranglers and talent coordinator positions. Contestants were not allowed to bring any belongings into the stadium, which again is quite crazy. Thus, spare undergarments and nearly all medication were collected and planned to be redistributed during filming. You're literally just taking people's medication and their undergarments away. Why are you taking their underwear away, allegedly? However, contestants reported issues in accessing their medication during filming, which obviously is incredibly dangerous.
So they've got people, right? The people come in with their luggage. The luggage has got, you know, things like spare underwear and medication. But we're not just gonna trust the people to like, okay, hold on to your luggage, right? Or you know, put it like. Instead, we're gonna separate the people from their belongings, including their medication, and we're going to have an on-site pharmacy to distribute the stuff.
Dangerous. Production medics on the go were tasked with handling medications, and a community ambulance team provided by the stadium was to respond to the medical issues. This is something completely new, said medic Mona, who worked the 24-hour pharmacy station at the stadium. She and other industry professionals said it was unusual for a production to confiscate and attempt to monitor medication intake to this degree. According to Mona, medics on the go were stationed at the Luxor and Rio before the filming, where most contestants lodged to collect medication. We had no idea that some contestants were at other casinos, said Mona, explaining how some contestants' medication may have been lost. Some contestants not situated at the Rio or Luxor communicated to the pharmaceutical team that production staff had collected their belongings and promised to deliver them to the appropriate department, said Mona. Their stuff was supposed to be turned into us and never was. Now take a moment with that. It never was turned in. Allegedly. When asked about how medication may have been denied or time restricted at the beginning, medic April said, "I don't know why. Yeah,
Miska is noticing the unfortunate combination of having your undergarments taken away from you and the bathroom situation being what it is, which if you missed it, I don't remember how many. There was a limited number of porta potties brought in there, and they were only emptied and cleaned once during the production.
Find out the guys in back didn't know all the rules and wouldn't let them come to the pharmacy. April said the team regularly had to remind staff the contestants needed to be allowed 24 access to the station, which is, again, why is that needed to be clarified? Mona said it was unlikely the medic team lost medication as they kept, a meticulous inventory of the medication and other items brought directly to them, lodging the items and their quantity in a list, so basically saying that they wouldn't have been lost, so both sides. It turned out to just be more than medications, because technically, when we first got our original list, we were supposed to have the medication of about 736 people, which is a lot of people, right? And to think that there were more people there than 700, like 2,000 people's medication. Said Mona, who also experienced attempts from contestants informed by production staff to store lotion, Bibles, protein powder, clothes, makeup, and food.
Bibles.
We're only supposed to do pharmacy things, and it turned out to be a little more.
Wait, lotion and Bibles? Oh my gosh, chat, this is getting more interesting, bro. Your protein powder? Yeah, I mean, like, this is anything that you go to this thing, you've got your stuff, they're like, bring the stuff that you need for X amount of days. Some people, it's going to be lotion. People like to keep moisturized. Sure, there's other uses for lotion as well. Bibles? Need to read your Bible while you're moisturizing your hands, potentially. Protein powder? Yeah, you need some extra protein, Now that's weird, right? Because unless you've got like I guess you've got like one of those shaker containers, right? If you've got your protein powder, you're gonna have to have that. Otherwise, there's no way to. You're not gonna have a blender there, right? I'm assuming. Clothes, makeup, and food. All right, so there you go. Lotion, Bibles. I'm glad there's no baby oil. At least that's we've got in direct contrast to the P. Diddy situation. There is lotion. There are not Bibles.
Super chatted $19.99. Today on MrBeast, we will be playing hide and seek on Little St. James Island.
Oh no!
To be found Windsor famous rapper's old mansion.
Oh no! Davy, thank you for the super chat. I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I can confirm that kicks our dono goal up to 30%. Remember, when you donate, you can let me know in the chat which of these topics that we're doing today for bonus content that you'd like to see. If we hit the dono girl, why do I say dono girl? I'm the dono girl. Don't hit the dono girl. Be nice to the dono girl, okay? The bonus girl. I'm the bonus girl. Oh no, chat. I'm part of the bonus army. What am I saying? What am I saying? I don't even know, chat. But regardless, if we hit the dono girl... No! I can't say things. My mouth doesn't work. Don't hit the dono girl, please. I feel like I'm up here and somebody's gonna throw, like, balls to knock me into a water tank or something. I'm the dono girl, like, right? I'm the dunk on the dono girl. Anyway, dunker in the tank. If we hit the dono goal, as opposed to the dono girl, early, I'll go right to that content when it gets hit, right? Because I'm willing, if you're, we can hit it more than once today, all right? It is late enough in the month that I need the money that bad, and also we got a lot of good topics up here, and I don't want to miss out on any of them. So we get a chance to cover more than one, I will absolutely do that. If we get to the dono goal before the end of the stream, I'll do it early, right? We can potentially, and I've only got 2 items on the list today on purpose so that we have a chance to get some more of this bonus content done. Just make sure to let me know in the chat which of these topics you want to see next. I'll be more than glad to add your donation as a percentage to the topic of your choice. Keep voting for the topics as well. It'll be a combination of the voting and the donos applied to the topics that decides which of these topics we unlock when we hit 100%.
Again, for some reason, there were not departments for putting your just other stuff, allegedly. Mona assisted in, being an inventory for the medication kind that was about double what we
What if alt hissed?
Told. There was no communication. Everything was on the fly, said Mona. We didn't have a real understanding of what they expected, or even if they knew what they were expecting. I don't know if it was planned out because all the information was not given. So they're saying, like, we weren't
Dunking Donos where coffee comes with a Sunday expose?
told anything, but we also don't know if the team predicted any of this. Like, maybe they genuinely were just stupid enough that they never thought about anything this deep, but that's not an excuse when you have 2,000 people on the line and $100 million to sort this damn shit out. Contestant Wrangler Hannah explains that in a normal production, workers receive a call sheet that informs them of the production schedule, the names and contacts of their coworkers, and other important information.
See, the thing about this is that the idea of keeping track of a bunch of people, their medications, and their belongings, this is like summer camp type stuff. Like, right, there are, organizations that do this stuff that are not like $100 million productions. I feel like it just can't be this hard. I don't know what went wrong here, how much of it was trying to do this on the cheap and maximize the profit, and how much of it was just like miscommunication.
However, no call sheets were provided, which is incredibly not what should happen, incredibly rare. And plans often changed, said Hannah, who felt the team was constantly reacting to complications. Hannah was responsible for guiding and coordinating contestants. Some contestants and medics, not all, reported to News 3 that they received a bare-bones call sheet, but described them as unusual and delayed, which again is just so weird. I'm gonna open this window. It's hot as balls in here. Oh, that's a lovely little breeze. I love it. Again, not having a call sheet is incredibly rare, and for a production with $100 million, it is honestly just ridiculous, and there is no reason for it. I don't know how things are continuing to get worse. I felt so unprofessional, said Hannah, who often could not answer questions or direct the contestants to an area that they were meant to be. I should have had more protocols on how to help me do my job. What little schedules were provided were often changed or delayed by hours due to the whims of MrBeast and his team. And this is a problem of Amazon giving them too much power. Said Kara. For example, just 2 days before the principal shooting, Kara said the producers decided to invert the schedule and film the games at night instead of the day, which changes so much to do with, like, safety. You're filming at nighttime instead of daytime, different schedules, different times, letting people know, and they changed it 2 days before. Like, this is shit that is really, really, really known in advance. Like, in advance.
You see how this could happen, though? Like, normally for any kind of production, if this is something that you do, right? If you've worked on reality shows before or anything like this, then you're going to look for, like, all right, what's my job? What am I actually going to have to do? What are my instructions? How do you want me to do this? What standard are you holding me up to, right? You're going to look for those things. However, if you got a once-in-a-lifetime chance to work with somebody as famous as MrBeast, maybe you just assume they've got to have this. Everything's got to be under control. It'll work out, right? They do this stuff all the time. Like, it's MrBeast. Like,
and the fact that they were just on the whim changing it, like, oh, whatever, it's crazy. They had to shoot at night because nobody thought that the fact that you can't control the light in the stadium during the day, which...
Ooh, that's a big thing. That's something that every YouTuber should know, though. I know that. There's a reason that I have blackout curtains on top of my Venetian blinds, and that is because even though Venetian blinds keep most of the light out of the room, there's such a variance in the amount of natural light that comes in during a day that I can't standardize my lighting look without something just obstructing the sun entirely.
Why did you not consider that? Literally, a Hollywood production normally film at night or in sound studios so you can control the damn light. Like, how dumb or bad at your job are you? Said Kara, the MrBeast team had wanted greater control over the light for the filming purposes, she explained. According to Mona, the lack of schedules was intentional. During a production meeting, MrBeast producers informed the medics that Donaldson does not believe in schedules, which is great if he's filming a little YouTube video with the boys, but when you're dealing with 2,000 people, an entire team, not wanting a schedule is a really dumb idea. And it's a really unsafe idea. The producers with MrBeast said MrBeast does it when he feels like he's ready, recounted Mona, and that's why our schedule kept changing, which again is just ridiculous.
Chat, I need one of those little like button thought bubbles.
Contestants,
hey, like the stream if you haven't already.
Sally, Rose, and Emily said they were provided regular but frugal meals. The first meal upon arriving at the stadium consisted of a 1/4 of a cup of oatmeal, 1 to 2 cucumber slices, 2 baby carrots, a cherry tomato, a boiled egg, and 2 to 3 celery sticks.
Okay, now that's not just like an inappropriately small meal. That's a weirdly specific meal. That sounds like a weight loss meal. Like, do you know what I'm saying? That sounds like somebody got like a meal plan from their personal trainer who just graduated from one of the B-tier personal trainer certification companies. And it's like 1/4 cup of oatmeal, 1 to 2 cucumber slices, 1 to 2, like, oh my god, 2 baby carrots, a cherry tomato, a single cherry tomato. See what I mean? It's like heavy. I mean, you got some veggies in there. It's not like a bad... It's not like, you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying, chat? They're not handing them like... Like, it's healthy, but it's maybe, unless you're trying to lose weight, not enough. And if you are on a physically demanding reality game show, then it's definitely not enough. You need some carbs. God damn it. Need some carbs. Can we get some carbs in chat?
Keep in mind, these people are performing really vigorous tasks for this show, for MrBeast's, you know, production, which ultimately he's...
Like, it's okay for some people, right? For some people, for some purposes, right? If you're a fairly small person and you're trying to lose weight, that's an appropriate meal plan. For a snack, maybe. I don't know. It's just not sufficient. It's not what you need.
Profiting from. MrBeast was...
And you would hope that what they do is, like, I don't know, have like a buffet or something where it's like, all right, here we go. We got pancakes. We got French toast. I don't know, whatever's easy. I don't know if those things are easy to cook. We got a bunch of stuff, and you take what you need. And if some people only want to eat like a half of a pancake, then that's fine for them. But for the person that's going to need like 3 pancakes, right, then you can get 3 pancakes. It's there. We got extra.
Not feeding them.
Like I was saying, chat, like summer camps figure this shit out. Why can't MrBeast?
Wasn't feeding them enough, said Mona. whose team kept snacks for those who needed food alongside their medication. So people would come to bombard us for snacks. We would have to figure something out because they can't keep coming up to us for snacks. Sally recalled an incident when a man asked production staff for food to eat with his medication.
I would be so pissed off, chat. I'd be trying to sneak in those little baby food pouches into there.
The worker yelled and threatened the man. All right, time to close the window, I guess. All right, hope he enjoys that little. So he wanted food to take alongside his medication. The worker yelled and threatened the man with elimination if he continued to pester her for wanting food to go alongside his medication. I agree that during the period of time for which I'm participating in the above production, I will continue to take any medications or follow any course of treatment correctly, or prospectively prescribed to me by my doctors, or that if I decide to change my medications or course of treatment, I will do so at the direction of my doctors. An excerpt from Contestant Diligent Packet.
I think the small meal was purposeful. Wait, to make it harder, BCAT K?
One contestant had a seizure. They just left him there, said Hannah, describing one of the seizure instances. Medical attention wasn't brought to them until nearly an hour later, she said. The community ambulance medical team handled that medical incident. However, Mona said that the community medical team could not be reached in many cases, or that, the medics on the go had to fill in for their responsibilities. Based on her previous collaboration and conversations with them, April and Mona said the community medics were not given the information to... Wow, he's really going...
Wait, Scythe has got like a protein powder that you can just put it in a water bottle and shake it up? And it actually gets... It's not clumpy?
Crazy. I hope you can hear that. They do that through the night as well, by the way. He's really loud. But again, he really looks like he's having fun, and that's all that matters. Based on
He's working.
previous collaboration and conversations with them... Oh, download is on.
You bought it in Japan. Why is that? Like small products in Japan are like they're so much better, right? Oh my god.
April and Mona...
I don't know how to describe this, chat, but like there's lots of... What is the word for this? How do I describe this? Like Japanese, like consumer products, like small little trinket size things that you get are like so much better thought out.
The community medics were not given the information to stock or equip themselves for the two...
I know what you're talking about, Scythe. I know exactly...
I remember the first day someone was like, I need a medic, said contestant Wrangler Rick of a different incident.
Wrangler Rick? Excuse me? Yeah, Wrangler Rick. It's Wrangler Rick. This is like summer camp gone to hell.
Rick and other Wranglers wandered the stadium until they found a stadium worker who could phone the community ambulance medical team. Medic stations had shifted locations a few times during production, so people didn't even allegedly know where to find this damn team. No one told us anything about what to do in that situation, said Rick. We went up to a security guard for the stadium and we were like, hey, is one of your guys medics here? When asked if they knew the protocols to approach a medical instance when filming started, 5 of the 5 production workers said they did not know. When filming began, 4 of the 5 said they did not realize there were 2 medic teams, one for pharmacy and one for incidents, or one for incidents. Hello, incidents. You've got...
It's like Entrapta from Modern She-Ra.
The one worker who knew the
Wait, I feel like I remember that character.
Was not informed of...
Was Entrapta the inventress? A lot of mini tiny servings of things. Korea has the same kind of economy of size.
The fact, but summarized it after stumbling into medics on the go and the community ambulance team separately. This is stuff that should be known by everyone months in advance. MrBeast producers had forbidden medics from being stationed inside the set, for whatever reasons, even during challenges, because they did not want to ruin the atmosphere. Said April. Employees on the set wore black suits and black masks, resembling figures in the Squid Games, which Jimmy is so goddamn obsessed with for no reason. A South
Well, I mean, to be fair, the whole reason for this for this event existing, right? It only exists because of Squid Games. If Squid Games wasn't such a phenomenon, that there would be no way to do this event, right? It's
Korean drama that, you know, he's previously
like I don't actually have a problem with Jimmy being obsessed with the Squid Games if what you're doing is trying to make some kind of a real life equivalent thereof. Hopefully, that's not as inhumane.
on inspiration from. And again, what's just really strange about this is how much Jimmy is obsessed with like Squid Games. It's just really, really, really weird. All right. During the first evening of the competition, April said the medics grew concerned as they noticed people were not coming to collect their medication at their doctor's advised times. Medics on the Go was also not getting answers from the producers and were not allowed access to the field, which is so weird, where there are literally all these competitions happening. In response, some medics took initiative and borrowed black costumes to gain access to the field, said April. The medics made announcements to inform contestants and staff the pharmacy was open 24/7. This is things that are really important and should be very clear. According to April, medics on the Go followed every guideline from the Drug Enforcement Administration and the Nevada State Pharmacy Board. Furthermore, medics on the Go provided pill pouches to some contestants. She said the team had informed the MrBeast producers that some contestants, depending on their condition, would need their inhalers, EpiPens, and medication by them at all times. Why is this not something that was thought about or taken into consideration once it was brought up? It's bullshit.
Yeah, this is part of working with human beings.
Here we're seeing all the luggage and stuff.
If that's
Okay, before we go on to
if those are the contestants that you want to film as human beings, then you're gonna need to take care of inhalers and EpiPens and all kinds of stuff.
this next part, I am very quickly going to bring a fan in here because it is so hot. I will be right back. This LA heat is not for my little Irish body. I'll be right back. Okay, I literally took, sorry, I probably did like a millennial pause, like at the start of that. I literally took like a 30-minute break because it was so goddamn hot in here. However, the sun is setting now and it's really beautiful, and I've also just realized that I've gotten a bug bite in the time that I sat outside.
Ow.
Which is really great. Anyways, moving along.
That's the worst.
I've never done a production that was so unprepared. Now, this is just one of many people that have said that this was the most unprepared production ever. Said Kara, no systems in place for anything. It was impossible to get an answer from anyone. Staff members shared stories of disorganization in supplying water, literally supplying water, to staff and contestants, transporting contestants to the venue. So even just getting the contestants there were problems, allegedly. Organizing contestants, attempting to bring outside food and beverages into the, hotels, picking up construction equipment without protection, arranging...
So I'm wondering why the outside food thing is a problem. Can anybody want to hazard a guess on that? Like, why do they seem to be... Why do they need to be so... Maybe somebody that knows more about Squid Game, right? I mean, is that part of it? The way, the atmosphere of the show, the way that they want things to look, the way that they want things to work? Is it part of the difficulty? Standardizing things so nobody can bring in like an energy drink and maybe perform better? I'm trying to understand why they need to be so adamant about separating people from their stuff, why they need to set it up so that it's like, okay, we separate you from your stuff. If you need your underwear, you got to ask these people. If you need your medications, you got to go to the pharmacy. Like, why is it like this? Because it feels like one way to take care of dealing with a whole bunch of people is to allow them access to their stuff, is to make that simple and easy. Maybe even set up some lockers. It's a stadium, right? There's probably a locker room. They could each have their own little lockers, have their stuff in it. You need to get something, you go to your locker. Is there a reason that can't happen?
Hospital visits and more. We're being told there were issues with all of that. After 500 contestants were eliminated in the first round, contestant wranglers were tasked with returning collected undergarments to their owners, said Kara. However, they were not provided with the list of whose belongings needed to be pulled, so basically they were yet again unorganized. It felt as if MrBeast producers assumed through osmosis, contestant wranglers would magically know who was eliminated in the challenge, said Kara. After multiple requests, a list was provided in the following evening, she said. Undergarments were collected so contestants who were not allowed to bring any belongings into the field could have spares over the principal shooting. And again, I really just don't want us to get normal to the fact that people's undergarments and underwear were allegedly taken off them. For what reason? Like, you can argue medication, you know, in terms of they needed to, like, fact check. It wasn't, like, anything, like, bad. But, like, undergarments is literally just weird and unnecessary. When we found out that we were going to have to deal with this and there was no system in place, it was a nightmare, said Kara, who spent 12 hours organizing the undergarments the day after they were supposed to begin distribution. A producer, alongside an entourage of people in the black costumes because of Squid Games and how cool it is, discovered Kara's team struggling with underwear and assisted in the organization, said Kara. They came over with an attitude at first, like, I don't know what you expect us to do, which is crazy, said Kara, adding that the producer seemed as confused as they were. We were told to do something without any instructions on how to do it. They collected the undergarments, but did not think about how they would be distributed, organized, or where they would even be stored, she explained. Undergarments were found stored in 2 different locations, and others were not found at all, allegedly, until the production was finished, said Kara. According to April, staff were still finding lost bags containing contestant belongings after the filming concluded and were organizing efforts to mail them to their owners. Take that in for a second, that these people were literally not only not properly getting their stuff, but it was so bad that some people were allegedly not even getting their stuff and it was over in the end. It's so over, like... There were so many things that I was looking at thinking to myself, wow, there's an easier way to do this, said Kara. However, that would have required forethought and preparation from the producers, she clocked. All right, okay. With mixed messaging from the talent coordinators, MrBeast producers, and the medics, Hannah said contestant wranglers had to improvise much of their work. I never understood why they did what they did, said Hannah, one of the direct coordinators. We were always in the blind. When asking producers for details of the transposed filming times, April recalls her team having to explain that they needed information to intake and dispense medication to contestants properly. So not only are they weirdly taking medication, but they don't know allegedly what to do with it, which is a huge problem because people need medication to live. People need medication to protect themselves, to keep themselves...
All right, chat. I am going to take a quick bathroom break. I will be right back.
That's a secret April recalled them telling her initially, which is so goddamn weird. I can confidently tell you they knew the information. They intentionally withheld it from the wranglers, said Jack, describing producer responses laced with verbal irony, suggesting that they had the information, which is a big allegation. All News 3 interviews with local contestant wranglers, coordinators, and medics mention complaints of poor communication, which again is just another time we're hearing this poor communication, from producers and being provided insufficient information to do their jobs effectively. While it is not unusual to make efforts to, migrate the leaks and spoilers, production staff told News 3 that the secrecy at the Las Vegas production was excessive. So obviously, there's a way of keeping things secret so that they don't leak, but when you're not telling people anything, it's a recipe for goddamn disaster. In addition, Rick said staff were not aptly provided with means of communication or information on where to go with questions. In a normal production, you would know exactly where to go and when, be provided with contacts for the different departments, and have a clear understanding of your assignment, said Rick. However, he concluded, that was not the case for the MrBeast production. I'm just walking around the giant stadium trying to help where I can, said Rick, who, and by the way, in even small productions with no budget, this is all in weeks in advance. Everyone knows where and when they are and where the departments are, and the fact that in a $100 million production, this was not already, it's fucking ridiculous and there's no excuses for it. Would show up to their shifts confused and without direction. So it was kind of show up and help out wherever you can. Rick said that many local production workers quit during the production because of the working conditions for staff and contestants. It sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen, which obviously we know now that there is a lawsuit, said Jack weeks before the class action lawsuit against Beast Games, not letting anyone have food, water, their medication, which of course is heavily affected by diet as well. One advantage Beast Games seemed to have was the funding, said Rick. Money is tightly regulated in productions, which is why strict filming schedules exist. Beast Games seemed to have an open checkbook. He continued. Rick recalls an instance where they purchased 1,200 some burritos, but had to leave more than 2/3 for waste, which is fucking crazy. Donaldson said the scale and production cost for the Amazon things would surpass the production cost for the YouTube videos, which he estimated to cost an average $3.5 million. North Carolina production company Off One Base LLC designed in documents as the producers of the YouTube prelude stated a total budget of more than $14 million for the YouTube video in the Nevada transferable tax credit application. Donaldson, who makes between 600 to 700 million a year, allegedly, said that money was not a constraint, which again is going to come back and bite him in the ass if you're being stingy with money and you're being like, money's not a constraint. It all looks super legit, super expensive, said Rick of the production equipment and set. No one was worrying about budget on this one. I've definitely been on other gigs where the word budget comes up often and it never came up with this one. So where's the money going? This was made apparent to Rick when he found himself staring at piles of sleeping bags in the stadium conference room. The production had wrapped, and worried that sleeping bags could be wastefully trashed like the burritos, some contestant wranglers took it upon themselves to run carloads of sleeping bags to local shelters, which would have been a thing that most productions would have already wanted anyway, but apparently that was just throw them away and so wasteful, said Rick. But again, isn't MrBeast so charitable? Only when the cameras are on, allegedly. All right. It was the plan originally, he said, but no one ever brought it up to the team. According to a 2024 Clark County
And back.
census, the number of people experiencing homelessness in the county, increased 36% to nearly 8,000 people. So MrBeast really should be off camera doing what he says on camera, and the amount of waste here is ridiculous. Oh my god, one of those little robots that, like, you know, does the food deliveries is just driving past. I'm like fangirling. They're so cute. Oh. It nearly hit a tree. You know what I mean? They're like the little things.
I've actually never witnessed one of these. I've definitely never had food delivered by a robot, but I've seen pictures. Like I've seen, like, there's videos about, like, some people fuck with these things, right? Like the little, like, drone bots that deliver food. Like, I don't even know how that works. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Maybe it's an LA thing. I've never seen any, like, out on the street. People fuck with the robots. They banned robots here. It's got prison vibes. He does not earn $700 million a year. That's ridiculous. What, MrBeast? I wouldn't be that surprised. I love how we have to go through news right now instead of election shit. Because Trump just said, I'm done. Wait, what are you talking about? Have weasels covered the diddler? Yeah, we did cover the diddler a little bit. Let's cash in our entire brand, says Speedrunner. I love it when successful people do stuff like this because it makes me feel not so bad and it humanizes them. Yeah, throwing away their brand like this.
Oh my god, there's
Shakespeare has seen the robots here in LA. Never seen a robot in NYC.
so cute.
Yeah, we're not talking. What are we talking about? I feel like there's versions of this where the robots are on little, like, almost like tank tracks. You know what I mean? It's like a there's a version of this delivery robot that's like, it's got like two, like, tank type tracks, like a little miniature tank. I'm trying to think of what other versions I've seen. They don't have the toxic plume over Atlanta. I have not.
I've been seeing people, like,
Yeah, delivery robots. Yeah.
beating them and, like, kicking them and stuff, and I'm like, guys, leave them alone. Concerns. According to April, contestants admitted to lying on their medical forms to enter the competition. Contestants and staff shared stories of contestants stealing from each other for personal gain or competitive advantages. In one instance, for example, April said medics had to replace a woman's medication because other contestants had taken her sleeping bags and medications she left inside, which is just fucking insane. But what surprised her most was the age range of the contestants, said April. If they had known their ages beforehand, medics on the go would not have approved them for the competition, she said. Earlier in July, Medics on the Go collaborated with doctors stationed nationwide, eliminating applications based on their medical records who they felt could be at risk during the competition, which is very, very standard for a show of this where you're doing these competitions. April said that pharmacy medics learned of the contestants' age when they first visited the pharmacy and shared their ID. Recalling one healthy 82-year-old lady, my God, April said she got banged up and scratched up. When it comes to money, people are ruthless. This is crazy that like 80-year-olds are going through this. Production workers.
Wait a minute. Has this come out? Do we know what the nature of this of these events are? Because when I hear like banged up when it comes to money, it makes me think that yeah, this is the person, this is Adam McIntyre, who also, one of the main people exposing Colleen Ballinger.
And contestants described challenges which included
They're a threat to people who rely on food delivery jobs, but the bots themselves are cute as fuck.
War and sprinting for money as physical events that's catered to young athletic men, which is what Rosanna was talking about, which is the competitions weren't necessarily fair. They were really catered towards fit young men. And you can have all ages involved when it's clearly benefiting or clearly the easiest on one demographic of people, who the majority is anyway. It's unfair. These people were hurting each other. And again, MrBeast and his team probably loved that because it's great content. They would be like, oh guys, they probably were like, don't hurt each other. But then when they do, they're like, wow, this is great content. It was like a football game without protection, said Hannah, who recalled watching contestants participate in a challenge from the bleachers. You can hear the bones cracking and falling from up there. Hannah noticed the younger contestants enjoyed themselves, but expressed concern for older contestants during the challenges and wondered why they were even allowed to participate. I remember seeing two older ladies in their 60s playing the game, and I'm like, these games are not made for elderly people, she said. Contestant Emily said she initially believed challenges would include cognitive and skills-based challenges, which would be a little bit more fair, or at least a variety. Production company Off One...
Okay, I'll be honest, chat. I haven't watched Squid Games. All right? I've seen clips of it, and the kind of challenges that they had were challenges where there's a shape cut in like a, I don't know, like a cookie. It's not a cookie, but it's some like hard little object, right? And it's already got a shape cut out, but it's not like the inside part of the shape is not detached from the outside. So the outside's like round, right? And inside you got a star, or you got a heart, or you got something like that, and you got a needle. And you're supposed to use the needle to try to cut the connection between the shape on the inside to knock out the parts that are not of the shape. And the second that you break that shape, you're out, you lose. And in the Squid Game, I think you die. But that's the kind of thing that I could imagine an 82-year-old woman being competitive with. It's like caramelized sugar and you have to chip away. Yeah, at the shape without breaking it. Yeah, like that's why I'm a little bit surprised that everything is like, I don't know, flag football, it sounds like, or maybe not even flag football. It's like full contact football. Love the mukbang. Yeah, I gotta eat something. We've seen Squid Games. But, so what I'm saying is that, like, although there were some challenges that did seem more physical, a lot of them weren't. A lot of them were more mental. They execute you on the spot if you fail. He should be he should play Kaiji, the Ultimate Survivor games.
LLC wrote in a letter sent to the Nevada Film Office that challenges would involve brains, brawn, and character, which again, if you're doing physical things, it's not really that. In response to a previous News 3 investigation and our ongoing Beast Games coverage, a spokesperson for MrBeast provided the following statement.
Look, I got a challenge for you right now if you're watching me on Twitch, right? And that challenge is getting out of the top of the hour ad break. That ad break is coming in about a minute. 3 minutes of you watching ads. If that does not sound like what you want to be doing for 3 minutes, there's ways to get out of it. You can do it for free if you got Prime. Right, you can get yourself a free sub using Twitch Prime. You can do it for, I think it's like discounted for like 2 more days. Yeah, for today and tomorrow. It's discounted, so it's like less than $6. It'll be $6 on Tuesday. And you could possibly do it also for free if you're lucky enough to be gifted a sub. That can happen, that does happen, but it's more likely to happen to you if you're active in the chat.
The MrBeast production video shoot, which included over 2,000 participants, was unfortunately complicated by the CrowdStrike extreme weather. We've already heard this bullshit over and over again. While the July 19th CrowdStrike outrage affected the production team's ability to coordinate hotels and flights home, Rick said that, to the contestants' understanding, it was not relevant to the other logistical issues of the production, so basically an easy way out. When asked if their communication for feedback extended to local production staff, the representative said they could not comment. Ironic. Best known for his stunt philanthropy, MrBeast produces large-scale YouTube videos, and it's basically saying about like all these big videos he does. During one video, people are like winning a lot of money, right? So, and we have one of the big lawsuit right here. Now, we went through this entire lawsuit. It took us a while, but I'm so glad I did it. There is so much in here. So I'd really recommend going back to that video where I went through it all, or just going through it yourself, because I think it gives a lot of context. So a class action lawsuit, as we know, was filed against MrBeast. One primary area of the claim is misclassification. They were not treated as employees, said attorney Courtney, representing the plaintiffs in the class action lawsuit. So we've read all this about the lawsuit, basically. So if you've already watched that video, I'm not going to rehash it. But basically, it goes on to say that the 1,000 finalists from the Las Vegas production moved on to compete in the official Amazon Video, Prime Video Beast Games contestant show in Toronto.
I'm guessing they don't pay for... Do they pay for your travel, at least?
So, obviously, the only part...
Vegas to Toronto, that's kind of...
There was all the document of the lawsuit.
Is that cookie dough? No. Does it look like cookie dough? It's just, it's curry. It's I'm dipping tortillas into curry.
We went through that extensively, so I'm not going to force you to hear that again. Here's the thing. It's getting worse and worse by the day. We're getting more and more information by the day, and it seems that the more information we get, the worse it is. And it's just like, I keep saying this in these damn videos. At what stage is something going to be actually said or actually done, or a statement or whatever? Like, is this lawsuit going to need to go to its entirety and like play out, and they want it to go to a jury trial? Is MrBeast going to allow that? I don't think so. Is this show just going to come out amidst all these contestants, all these production staff, all this speaking out? Like, what is it going to take for some...
Okay, here's my prediction. All right. It'll get settled before there's discovery. So you're going to see some leaks now. You're going to hear some stuff, but it's never going to be confirmed because MrBeast's company or whatever, MrBeast's lawyers are going to settle this. I'll bet you anything they're going to settle this, right? They don't want the stuff coming out. But I mean, there is going to be a continued, like, you know, dogpile on MrBeast. There's going to be more and more stuff that comes out because like, I swear to God, this isn't the only thing. Izzy Sanchez, thank you for the gifted membership to Atreyu Coyote 7. Atreyu Coyote 7, you just got weaseled. Also, Vamps, thanks for re-upping your sub on Twitch and thus getting out of the top of the hour ad break. Look, some people are smart with this, right? Other people, they just sit and they watch ad breaks and they don't even know why. But I try to help you out. I try to let you know how that whole meta works. Yeah, that brings us up. I believe we're at 39 points. Remember, when you donate, let me know which of these topics you want to see as the bonus content, and I'll actually add your donation as a percentage to the topic of your choice. It's like Timpool doesn't know how to skateboard, doesn't know skateboarding is winning. What if Alt Hist, and that'll be part 2 of that because we watched a little bit of that and I got tired. What if Alt Hist on lying is at 2nd place, and then Adam Friedland and John Doyle are tied in 3rd place. John Doyle, says Izzy Sanchez. Thank you. There's another John. So people do know, some people know John Doyle, and they know how good that content is. John Doyle's got an extra 8%. What If Alt Hiss is an extra 25%. Actually, What If Alt Hiss is winning right now, but just barely. So keep on voting. If you haven't already voted, it's over in the full-scale stream, No Comment Chick on YouTube. And you could also affect the dono goal, right? We're at 39%, almost 40% out of 100. If we hit, when we hit 100, I will go directly to the bonus content because I'm willing to let us hit it more than once tonight. It is the end of the month, and I am poor, so so I'll open it up for today and tomorrow only, that we can do multiple. Also, I want to get some of these topics covered, right? Because I think I've got some really good topics right now, and I don't want any of them slipping through the cracks. There is this one other video. Let's see. Is this any good? If it will load up. I wish that I had loading music where that it would say, what if Ninja... See, this is taking too long. Imagine if Ninja...
Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
Can you imagine that, chat?
Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
Shax BA with 199
Imagine if Ninja got a low
for the Grillin' Sicilian.
Imagine if Ninja got a
And we're up to 41%. I'm just waiting for this shit to load up. What the fuck?
Ninja got a low table fade. Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
Did I talk about Chappelle Roan getting dogpiled by liberals? Yes.
Ninja got a low table.
We probably should revisit that. Has more stuff happened? Here we go.
Imagine if Ninja got a low table fade.
That's what we have to do, chat. We have to imagine if Ninja got a low taper fade. Anyway.
There's a lot that just came out about MrBeast and Amazon's Beast Games. Since I made my last video on it, a handful of people reached out to me claiming to be contestants, and they wanted to share their side of the story while being there. It's been incredibly hard to find any information on the Beast Games as everyone is under an NDA. So until now, what we really have is the side from the people who are suing MrBeast and the few who talked to the New York Times and Rosanna. And that's all left people with this narrative that the Beast Games is now like a new fire festival, which just sounds absolutely terrible. So
That's what it sounds like to me.
I am extremely interested in hearing the sides of these people. But out of the few people I talked to, there was one single person who trusted me enough to send me information that verified that they were actually in the Beast Games. And thankfully, they agreed to do an interview where they just walked me through the entire experience of being on the Beast Games. And honestly, I was shocked to hear that things seemed very different from what we've heard until now. And because of this NDA, to protect this person's identity, we had to completely rework their voice. But without further ado, here's the full Beast Games experience from this contestant's perspective. So I guess, hey, if you want to start from the beginning, how did you find out about it? And what was the process of joining like?
So I found out about Beast Games from a friend that said he might have an in. I ended up applying, and over the course of about 2 weeks, I was accepted, and that was probably about 3 or 4 weeks before the competition actually started, and they sent us to Vegas. So I didn't really, I don't know. I just kind of got accepted, and then I was thrown into it.
So how did it end with, right? That implies that that if you know the right people, there's a way to get included in this. And it makes sense, right? Like, they're looking for 2,000 people. Obviously, a lot more people are looking for them. A lot more people want to be included in this, want to be part of this, right? But already I'm getting the sense that there's like sort of like a back door, like, right? If you know somebody who is part of that production, if you know somebody who's connected to Jimmy in the right way, you can probably just get on there.
Wow. Okay. And then, so was the first event, it was in what, Nevada or?
Yeah. So they sent all 2,000 people to Las Vegas, and just imagine, so much of the trouble in all of what's come out is behind the logistics of Vegas. So you have 2,000 people that you flew to Vegas. You then have to handle hotels for all the flights. And then you
Okay, so they are putting them up in hotels. They are putting them on flights
to feed them when they're there. So we all got like meals.
Wait, is it all flights from LA, or are there
stuff in the hotels? And I would say 99% of what's happened and what's gone on and what people are mad about is due to like lack of communication.
That's what I was getting.
Within.
So this seems a little bit more of a, I mean, not entirely a defense, but it's not going in the same direction. And you even got the implication from the YouTuber Etozy that people are saying this is like the Fire Festival, but maybe it's really not. It's not that bad. I would say it sounds worse, right? Did the Fire Festival? I don't know, Chad. I don't know that much about the Fire Festival, but there was no poop, right? The poop was at Woodstock 99. Like if you like, right, the actual people getting poopy, that was Woodstock 99 that had the poop. Like I've got I know, like you got DashCon, it sucks, but you're just like, it just sucks because there's only a little tiny ball pit in a kiddie pool, right? There's just nothing there. It's not very fun, but that's a lot like lower on the bad scale than Woodstock 99. You go out there and the toilets, the porta toilets are leaking, and you're getting like, you know, shit on you, right? That's a whole nother level. And then Fire Festival, maybe somewhere in between there.
Not even Beast Team, but the company they hired to handle the production. So
I feel like the lowest is Willie's Chocolate Experience, right? Willie's Chocolate Experience, despite the fact that it has chocolate in the name, there's actually no poop involved. But there's also no chocolate. So it's a big letdown. Yeah, I feel like I need to make a you know, like the ideological chart that was supposed to be your thumbnail today? You know, like the ideology axis, the ideology spreadsheet, the ideology, what the fuck is the name for this? The ideology compass. Yeah, right? You should have that, but for festivals, right? And like in terms of like gross to not gross, and like let down to not let down. So like, right, something could be like not a letdown, like the acts were great, the music was awesome, but we didn't, unbeknownst to us, there was poop that leaked out into the mud, and the mud got on the tents, and so everybody was kind of like unknowingly covered in poop, right? I don't know. I feel like we need to have a way to classify these experiences.
Have like random people that you pull off the street that are like, you know, they don't know the intricate details of the operation. So when somebody asks them a question like, "Hey, can I get
political compass chart?
Can I go get food, or can I go to the bathroom out here?" They are like, they only know what they've been told, so they're going off their best judgment, but that might not be what the person wants to hear. So it's just like a bunch of people playing telephone. So that's a large reason why people didn't get the things they wanted or the things they needed. And if you really need something bad enough, like, go get it. What are they going to tell you? No.
And so wait, so
you just had to break the rules.
It all started off. So you went to Vegas and you guys were in hotels there, and there was two things that I understood. So from the New York Times article, they were saying there was like an intake process, and then like the first day. Is that true, or? Yeah,
there was. So we got there one day, and some people got there like 2 or 3 days in advance just for planning purposes. But you stuck in a number of hotels. They split all 2,000 people between, say, like 3 or 4 hotels. But the intake process happened at Rio Hotel in like the big grand rooms. So eventually, throughout your 3 or 4 days, probably on the day that you got there, mine wasn't until like the second or third day, but they took you into the room, you signed all the paperwork, new NDAs, all sorts of stuff.
Fire Festival did not have enough bathrooms either, but no reported poopery.
And then you basically got like your jersey, and then you went back to your hotel room and then waited until they called you down like the morning of to come down in your jersey. And poor planning on their part, we could have just worn like our normal civilian clothing, but they put us all in trash bags. I guess like that was a last minute decision, which didn't.
I really want to know why the trash bags
help, because then people were like, why are there 1,000 people in a hotel in trash bags? that like raised some controversy.
Was there some kind of a... Were the challenges like you get sprayed with liquids and food items? Why would there need to be trash bags?
Right there. The trash bags were hot. You know, you could just rip bigger armholes or like suck it up. Yeah, that wasn't like a good decision on anyone's part. I don't know who that was, but it probably wasn't MrBeast directly.
And then, so you were put in trash bags, and then what happened once you were put into trash bags?
Once we were put into trash bags, well, they fed us breakfast. You had the opportunity to go get your own breakfast before the trash situation. Then it was like 3 or 4 hours of waiting until we got to the Rio Hotel. And they put us in the big grand rooms with, say, like 500 people in each room. Okay. And they would sporadically bring out food. They offered water. You could go to the bathroom. And yeah. So like we stood in those halls for another like 6 hours until we finally were bused to Allegiant Stadium, where we spent another 2 hours sitting on the bus and then going in through the in-dock process where they explain where the exits are.
I don't get it, chat. Why are they wearing trash bags? They're in the hotel. They're not doing challenges at this point. They're just... why do they need to have trash bags on them? I don't get it. I can't imagine why they would put trash bags. That's not Dr. Beast, it's Mr. Beast. Yeah, Dr. Beast spent longer in school.
The safety of the stadium, like where we're going to be. But we were all just split up into 4 groups between the 2,000 people. And like,
okay, wait. So you guys were put into trash bags and you just waited around in a hotel, like...
Why were you put into trash bags?
Conference room for 6
Please ask him about the trash bags.
hours?
We put on the trash bags. We waited for like...
Why did you put on trash bags?
2 hours to go on a bus to go to the Rio.
Why would you need to put on trash bags?
Once we were at the Rio, we were in the big grand halls where we had trash bags.
Look, if you're riding in Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s car and he's got a whale head that he's cut off with a chainsaw on the top of the car and it's spewing like whale juices and they're getting into the windows and they're, you know, kind of getting sprayed by the air. I don't know what the hell happened, right? But then, like, right, RFK Jr. put his family in trash bags in order to keep the whale juices off of them. Why did Jimmy put people in trash bags?
We probably waited for another hour in the trash.
It just symbolically to say you're trash?
Before they said, oh, you guys can take them off, but keep your trash bags so that you have it, like, when we walk.
You can take them off. Why did you have them on? Nobody's explained this, and it's almost like they're acting like it's obvious. Of course we had to have trash bags. They were like, what are we going to do? We don't have this. We don't have that. We got trash bags. Here, put the trash bag on. Why?
Here to the buses to go to Allegiant Stadium again.
Okay. And then what were you guys doing at the Rio in trash bags?
So at the Rio in trash bags, they collected our phones once we got on the buses. And then when
it's not like they do have clothes on underneath the trash bags. I don't understand. And they were saying it's hot too. So the trash bags were making it uncomfortable. They're already overly warm. They got trash bags on. That's like holding in their sweat. Like, that's really gross.
we were in the Rio.
As a precursor test to see who was cooperative? Yeah, maybe.
We were just sitting at tables.
That's a better example than what I've heard so far, Afroponics.
I think some of the halls actually didn't have tables. We just sat around for 6 hours. And like, I had a great group of friends that I was able to play games with and stuff at our table. We had like 7 or 8 people at our table, getting to know people. The coolest thing about the whole experience is getting adults together and taking away all distractions so they have nothing to do but get to know each other. That was the coolest thing. So
you guys waited around there for 6 hours, and then they bussed you to where the event happened?
Yeah, so everything took place in Allegiant Stadium throughout those 4 days.
And
this is like a football stadium, right?
What was...
No. They're like, I mean, trash bags. They're wearing them, though. They've got arms punched out in their trash bags and a place for their head, right? So they're taking trash bag. You rip out a place for your head. You put your head through. You rip out a place for this arm. You put that through. You rip out a place like that, right? They're wearing trash bags like they were ponchos.
The Allegiance. I'm not familiar. Is that just the Las Vegas Stadium?
Yeah, so it's like the nicest, biggest, newest football stadium that exists. Everything's super high tech. it was actually really cool. Like the stadium was super sick. And I think we got some like behind the scenes looks that not a lot of people do. But yeah, like the only place in Las Vegas that can accommodate any sort of thing like that is Allegiant Stadium.
Okay, so take me like through the whole thing so you got onto the bus from Rio, you went to the stadium, and what happened then when you got off?
When we got off the stadium, we walked inside and there were people, waiting by TV screens. There was the main producer. There were a couple of the MrBeast team waiting around. And after everyone had filed in, after like another 30 minutes to an hour, all of this was just like waiting around, which like is totally fine as long as you can handle waiting around. That's a big issue people had. But like if you have 2,000 people, your production's not going to move very quickly from thing to thing. So they basically just told us where the exits were. They had on TV screens displaying like, the safety precautions of the stadium if something were to happen, who to call, who you're going to contact, like whatever. And then shortly after that, they end up sitting us down for like an actual meal. So by then, maybe it was like 10 to 12 hours before we ate like a full like established lunch or dinner or whatever. And it might be like 10 p.m. at night by that point. Yeah, the hours were totally off while we were in the stadium because I think they figured out that they wanted to film everything at night. So then during the day, everything was just a waiting game with like nothing to do except like sit on the field or eat meals and hang out with people.
Okay, so when did the lack of like medical supplies and stuff like that come up?
So when you went into the Rio, you kind of like handed off your medical supplies for the Beast games, and they were going to handle the logistics of it.
Okay.
The production company was supposed to like quickly hand out medications, or they had like a medical bay set up, especially once we got down into the stadium and like on the floor of the stadium. There was like a medical area where you could go to and get your medications, but yeah, everything kind of weighed on when we were doing challenges and stuff, and like a big area of complaint are the no bathroom breaks or whatever. But they always told you like, oh, you're gonna get a bathroom break sometime soon, or like just hold on a minute. We're gonna do this challenge first. But imagine like trying to coordinate 2,000 people's bathroom breaks, and I think they could have relieved or alleviated the issue by just telling us when we would have bathroom breaks. But they didn't know how long filming was going to take, how long challenges were going to take. So everyone just had to like go when they could, and then they would wait for back, and like filming delays would happen just because people like didn't know when to go to the bathroom.
What kind of challenges were there? Was it like physical or waiting, or like what kind of like you don't have to like spoil anything too much, but like we have reports, of guys essentially assaulting women. Is that true?
So there were 4 different challenges within the Allegiant Stadium. Basically, 1 the first night, 2 the second night, and then 3 and 4 happened into like the 3rd and 4th days. The first one was physical, yes, but not like individual physical. It was a team challenge where you had to, I think it's all come out now what the challenges were, and you could like, or you had to tug a rope to pull something, and you were in teams of 400, 5 separate teams of 400. And some people were grabbing jerseys once they said like, oh, you need these jerseys to be on a team. And everyone was basically trying to stay within their 4 teams that they had originally split us up into. Because when we walked in the stadium, we were in 4 groups of 500. So everyone had made groups within those 4 groups of 500 and wanted to stay with their team. So when they announced we have 400 jerseys for each team, some of the big guys ran up and like grabbed the jerseys and started handing their team jerseys to other big guys they could find to like recruit people. And then some people not necessarily got forced physically, but like if you didn't know to run to the front to grab a jersey and you were kind of waiting on them to like hand them out or whatever, or you didn't have...
Izzy Sanchez, thanks for the 5 gifted memberships. Narwhal by Nature, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I'll read those out after the segment.
Large friends, or there's a possibility you just got shoved to whatever the 5th team was, which was like no one had allegiance to or anything, and that team ended up losing like right away. The actual challenge was supposed to last anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes, but the game testers they had test it didn't account for $5 million being on the line and like an actual like 2,000 people playing this game. Because we finished the challenge in like a minute, like under a minute. And then that fifth team didn't even get like close to finishing.
Oh, wow.
So but I think I was toward the middle, and I think some people in the rear, once you started actually pulling the rope, everyone got bunched up in the rear. It's possible people accidentally got injured, but I don't know if I would say that it's the fault of any one individual. It's just that when you have 500 or 400 people basically on two sides of a rope, that spans the length of the football stadium. So when everyone starts pulling back, people are going to get jumbled in the rear and just kind of like punched out.
So it was a tug of war with 400 people on each side.
So this is what they were talking about in terms of the challenges being more lending themselves more towards people who were physically fit. And they had the person that was mentioned in the Adam McIntyre video was an 82-year-old woman that got kind of scratched up and hurt during this event. Izzy Sanchez says John Doyle. Narwhal by Nature says what if alt hist? Gotcha. Okay.
The 400 people, 200 on each side of an individual rope. And those 200 people make the length of the football stadium, like right off the bat. So if you don't pull the rope and like keep your feet where they are and you start walking
We're at 71% right now. Remember, if we hit 100%, I will spontaneously switch to the bonus content. And we have the chance of getting hitting it more than once if that happens.
Back, everyone gets bunched up in the back. And so I think
okay.
that caused injury when people were like falling on each other.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just kind of what happened. I don't think it's any one person's fault. Someone got injured and nobody was trying to injure anyone in that challenge.
Okay, it's I can see saying it's nobody's fault, as in like you don't want to blame like one person. It's not like somebody in the group was doing something dangerous. However, the coordinator of this, the beneficiary of this, right? The responsibility has to lie on the person making this thing happen for money.
Okay.
But then they had us wait around for several more hours in kind of those lines so that we could take. I mean, you're allowed to lay down after the challenge happened and do whatever. But had us kind of still in those 400-person groups after they had walked the 400 that lost out of the stadium through the doors. They lined us up for a thumbnail photo, and then a couple more hours passed by, and we were finally like allowed another meal, and then we were able to go to bed. So they gave us, I think that's when the first seizure happened too, shortly after that challenge. I don't even think it was a result of medication, because if you really were epileptic, you're not going to tell them, hey, give me my medication or I'll have a seizure, and they're not going to do it. And if you did, that one person that like said no to you was a dumbass. Like, there's no reason they should, that single person that wasn't MrBeast 13. It was just a production person.
74%.
That person, no.
Thank you, Crotchy.
It's probably somebody who's
So that's did like an ambulance show up and carry someone off on a stretcher then, or
no? That person wasn't even like carried off. I think they were just laid down and they helped them, get through that. And then I don't know what happened to that single person because I wasn't trying to be involved in like a medical emergency. So I don't think they walked off even. I think they helped them recover, maybe took them to medical, asked what was wrong, whatever. But I don't think that person, there is no proof to indicate that person had a seizure because they were denied medication. Unless that single person comes forward and says that's
Dim tool, it is.
So everyone who's speculating, like, no one has any proof.
So that was the first challenge. And then what happened?
I kind of hate that this is becoming like a, question, like I don't know. Like, this is just becoming a YouTube controversy, right? Now, look, I do want to give multiple perspectives of this. I don't just want to find like the worst representation of what happened I possibly can and just like run with that and assume that everything's like the worst it possibly could be. But at the same time, I feel like the person talking, they're sweeping. They're sweeping for MrBeast, and we don't really need that.
after that? And also, where did you guys sleep?
So hours went by. It's probably like 2 or 3 a.m. by the actual time everything concludes and we're allowed to like go.
Also, remember, they're friends with somebody who knows MrBeast, right? That's how they got picked, right? So they have, I wouldn't say necessarily a personal connection to Jimmy, but maybe a second, third, fourth degree connection to Jimmy.
Actually, no. We don't go to bed until probably like 6 a.m. And the stadium has a translucent
I mean, now, before we get to this, though, like, we gotta note, this person is anonymous. They want to be anonymous. They're not doing this for their own personal advancement, right? They're not doing this to get some kind of benefit to get on future MrBeast projects, right? Otherwise, they would have just, like, there would have been actually, this is the weird thing about it, right? Is that the only reason I can really think of for being anonymous about this is if you're worried about, I don't know, you're a YouTuber and you don't want to get you don't want to have MrBeast know that you spoke out against him.
So you can see when the light is out or when it's dark out.
Mhm.
And they finally hand out like 1,600 Coleman sleeping bags, like a $20 sleeping bag that you first buy when you're going to go on your first camping trip, and you buy it from Walmart.
It's like literally one of the cheapest prices you could pay for a sleeping bag.
So they give us all those, and then they tell us to like go to sleep for, however long.
And the thing about sleeping bags that I've noticed is that there's not a lot of them that are made. Maybe in Las Vegas you can get one like this, right? But you want it to keep you warm, but there's, I don't know. I mean, I guess you can always like unzip it to various degrees, but what I've noticed is that there's not a lot of sleeping bags that are meant for like, I don't know, 57-degree weather.
And then we'll start the second day. So it's like 6 a.m. They put us to bed. It's starting to get like warm in the stadium. They fed us. And the meals were like...
This person also shits on Rosanna. Yeah, Rosanna did a video about this too, right?
The meals were 2 different options that they would alternate between. So you had like a lunch and a breakfast. Breakfast was like a small cup of oatmeal that was like more water than oatmeal. And it was plain. So there was no flavor whatsoever. Then you had a single hard-boiled egg and some vegetables, if I remember right.
Look, the one thing I want to give him credit for is the vegetables, right? Nobody eats enough vegetables for breakfast anyway, right? You're not thinking about vegetables when you're thinking about breakfast. And that's good. Okay, like I said, it did seem like something that, I don't know, like a trainer might give somebody as a meal plan.
The normal lunch without meal restrictions or dietary restrictions was a piece of chicken about the size of your palm that was boiled.
This is definitely some kind of...
Then you had quinoa rice or normal white rice.
I swear to God, they got a they got a personal... Oh, quinoa. Fancy. I love quinoa, Chad. I haven't had quinoa in so long.
And then you had vegetables. And those were like the 2 meals, but it wasn't like, you're not a lot of food, but enough to like sustain you or make you, give you the ability to live and go through challenges, for sure.
So you were eating twice a day?
We were eating...
I just want to know, like, if you're hungrier, can you get like 2 portions, maybe?
Eating probably three times a day.
Because I feel like I would have traded my chicken for somebody else's quinoa.
But then on about the second day, when they figured out, hey, this probably really isn't like enough food for some people, they started giving out like snack bags. They started passing out Feastable bars.
Oh no, the Feastables. Oh no, we're into MrBeast's other controversy.
And they started like giving us all sorts of snacks and things if we really needed. So if you needed food, you could ask for it and you would probably get it.
Okay.
On the second day is when I heard...
Super chatted $9.99. Can someone just sue MrBeast already so I don't have to hear about him ever again?
That's one idea. Thank you for the super chat, Davy. That brings us up to 84%. We're very close to hitting the sub goal for the first time.
A girl directly in front of me.
And like I said, if we do, we'll just like end this immediately, and we'll go right to go right to the bonus content.
Complained that she...
It's What If Alt Hist. Okay.
Was on her period. And she was talking to a main producer.
Wow, What If Alt Hist doing really well today.
He was denying her like her change of clothes, or he's like, I can't do anything about that right now. Look, I'm sorry. Because their whole system for handing out the undergarments that we had given them was not fantastic. They could have like just laid them out in the middle of the field and we would have solved our own issue within about an hour time frame.
Certainly he doesn't mean lay out your underwear on the... Lay out, like, what, a bag with your underwear? With your name on it?
But they made, well, like, I didn't get my underwear and socks until, like, the 3rd day. But I didn't complain about it. Like, we were just all in a stadium. We're all gross, nasty. Like, you just accept it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
we
like
all
camping.
sleep. Yeah, it's literally camping. And you know, I like, you just don't know what to expect, but you expect that you're going to be uncomfortable for a couple days if you're going to try and win $5 million. We also slept on the stadium floor with the Coleman sleeping bags. They didn't hand out pillows or anything, so I came up with using my shoes
As your pillow, yeah. That's inventive.
And then I later graduated when they had some black curtains out that were held down by some sandbags. So I grabbed one of the sand, used it as,
Ooh, yeah, sandbag sounds good.
and that was like a great night's sleep.
Interesting.
Probably the best pillow out there.
Okay, so wait, so you said you had a sleep.
This sounds like a disaster. I think so
They
too.
gave you a sleeping bag,
Give you the sleeping bag, yeah,
but no
And
pillow.
a pillow.
Okay. And then you just
And
slept
then,
on the AstroTurf?
Yeah, they had like a brown AstroTurf down, not the regular like stadium lined turf. So
Okay.
they refloored
What is brown AstroTurf?
the whole stadium for this.
Interesting. So
And then, oh yeah, during this whole thing, there's $5 million in cash sitting on one side of the stadium, like guarded by people
Oh,
24/7. And a legitimate $5 million real dollars in ones.
I would take some money and use that as a pillow. Yeah. I would fight the guards and get myself a nice little pillow of money.
So the
I would shove the money into the sleeping bag and then take it with me. Oh my god, chat.
whole entire top
I would have got you don't understand. I would have gone feral. If you had me at this thing, you would have seen a different side of me.
okay, so this was
I
okay.
can't
So
buy one.
and
AstroTurfing MrBeast hate confirmed.
and essentially,
That's what I'm doing.
so you were there for how many days?
We were there for about 4 days from start to finish.
And you
Oh, it's 4 days. I was thinking this was like weeks.
covered. So you've essentially
But there still was a problem, right? And the biggest problem that I've heard so far is the bathrooms. You got a limited number of porta potties that seems to be maybe insufficient by some people's account for the number of people that were there, and they are not getting serviced. They are not getting cleaned. They are not getting drained, right? They are sitting there, and somehow there's at least one account of poop getting on a sleeping bag. So however that happened.
told me the first 2 days now, or how far into?
A second day going into the second challenge. Yeah. So the second
Okay.
challenge was related to briefcases.
Oh, wait, is that the NDA stopping you from being more specific?
They had 400 briefcases laid out in a grid system. And so we don't start filming, like, there's so many hours. So there's like 12 hours between sleeping and the next challenge or so. Like, after it concluded, you're just kind of sitting around waiting the entire time. That's the whole theme of it. So there's just nothing going on the entire time. You're talking to people, you're playing games, like maybe exercising a little bit, but you're going to get gross and then you can't even shower. So just waiting. I can't stress that enough. And then maybe like midnight rolls around and we're ready for the second challenge.
Okay, low key, I hate that. I shouldn't hate it as much as I do. I shouldn't be this resentful. Can we see the money? Where's the money? Are those balls made of money? Where's the They said they had money just sitting there. I would have been so distracted by the money. I want those beast bucks.
So, yeah, the next challenge is briefcases laid out in a grid system.
Oh, we are going to get it described. Okay.
100 briefcases. And then there's a red line around the entire briefcase grid. MrBeast is in the center announcing, like, look at the
Oh, there's the money. There's the money. Damn. Okay, I get it. So some of these, so that they talked about the challenge where people really got hurt was the challenge with money. This is where the 82-year-old woman got like scraped up, or somebody else described the sound of bones breaking. I don't know if they actually did break. I haven't heard anybody talk about that kind of an injury, but maybe some situations where that sort of thing could happen.
screen up there. The screen is going to display the grid pattern on it and which briefcases are red, which ones are green. There's 50 red briefcases out of every 400 or so. And then you get to the briefcase and then you open it up and it's going to tell you whether it's red or green, whether you're safe or eliminated. So
what is this, like some minesweeper?
He would call your...
It's a grid of briefcases. The red ones eliminate you. The green ones let you go on.
400 people.
There's no money in the briefcases, unfortunately.
To go. And then you would line up around the entire red line, which took up about half the stadium floor. And then you would stand around it and you would strategize with the people around you which briefcase you were going to go for. Some people like were kind of just tired of being there at the point, but like didn't want to just like, I can't stress this enough too. You could just walk out anytime you want. So if you're not comfortable with the situation or anything, you could just leave and you're going to get compensated. They paid everyone that was there.
Wow. Okay.
$1,000 for being there. And then $1,000 when you get eliminated, regardless of when you go home. So I got out much later when we went into Ampeda, and I got $2,000 paid for being there for less than 2 weeks worth of work. But if you got out in the first Vegas challenges, you got paid $2,000.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
Was this what they were claiming is offering money to not...
Davy Cliff super chatted $19.99. Give me the modern day Karl Marx.
The modern day Karl Marx. Wait a minute. That hits the dono goal for us, right? So that hits the dono goal and gives us 4% extra weight. The modern Karl Marx. It's definitely not Adam Friedland. It's definitely not Tim Pool. Is it What If Alt Hist? Is that what the modern day Karl Marx is? My Balls, the anime? So modern day Karl Marx is in What If Alt Hist? That is What If Alt Hist, right? Do I understand this correctly? All right, here's what we're going to do, chat. We're going to consolidate the chats, at least for now. Consolidate those up. Jump in it. Jump in it. And jump in it. So yeah, we can get back to the MrBeast stuff whenever, but we hit the, he claimed he was the modern day equivalent. I think I saw something like that in his, I'm now getting What If Alt Hist's, community posts, right? Because I've watched enough of his channel that YouTube is showing me the community posts now, and I think I know what you're talking about. A modern day Karl Marx. What an asshole. I hate him for that. I hate him for that. That's terrible. All right, hit that link if you're in Shorts chat, and you will be joining us